165. Okay, got it. Let's start. Okay. So I'll start with, there are two procedures that I will explain here. First is the procedure in RA 9165 cases without plea bargaining. This is what, this was before plea bargaining was introduced. Okay, it starts with the arrest, but by the arresting officers, either PDEA, PNP, or NBI. Then it goes to the office of the city or provincial prosecutor for investigation. Then if there's probable cause, they file it in court. And then the court proceeds to trial. And then at the end of the trial, the judgment is made. Next. But in 9165 cases with plea bargaining, it's a different procedure. From arrest, you go to investigation by the prosecution. It's filed in court. And then there is arraignment. Immediately after the arraignment, there's plea bargaining, pre-trial stage. Once you plea bargain, there's no trial. Okay? Because if you plea bargain, you admit your guilt, but to a lesser offense. So from plea bargaining, you go straight to judgment. Okay? And in the judgment, there will be orders by the judge for you, if you're the PDL, to undergo DDE. This is drug dependence examination. And then later on, you can probably apply for probation. And then if the DDE, whatever is the result of the DDE, sometimes it can lead to rehabilitation. Okay, I'll explain that later. So we have a different process for cases with no plea bargaining and then with plea bargaining. Next. Okay, as I said, anything that puts people in prison, in jail, I put red. And then the green ones are the remedies. For the legal basis, I just put here for RA 9165, I shall concentrate on these sections because these are the usual cases that are filed. Section 5 for selling, 6 for maintenance of a drug den, 7 for visiting a drug den, 11 for possession, 12 possession of drug paraphernalia, Section 15 use of dangerous drugs. And how are you put in jail or arrested? Usually by warrantless arrest under Section 5, Rule 113 of the Rules of Criminal Procedure. Then I'll talk of the remedies if the arrest is by virtue of a warrant and if by warrantless arrest. Next. So I'll go through the different violations, and I'll explain to you why I put red for these words. Okay, take note. Penalty for Section 5 is life imprisonment to death and a fine ranging from 500,000 to 10 million pesos. And then regardless of the quantity and purity involved. This is very important when we talk about remedies later on. For Section 6, again, it's like Section 5, penalty is life imprisonment to death and fine from 500 to 10 million. And then it applies to people not just for those, either in a place where dangerous drug is used or sold. Okay. Section 7, employees and visitors of den, drive, or resort. So penalty is 12 years and 1 day to 20 years and a fine from 100,000 to 500,000. So it applies to the employees, the owners, and even somebody who is not an employee or an owner, but who knowingly visits the same. Okay. Then for Section 11, the penalty ranges from pinaka-highest is life imprisonment to death, and a fine ranging from 500,000 to 10 million. This is for the big amounts. Okay? Then pababa ng pababa, ang lowest is under paragraph 2, subparagraph 3, which is imprisonment of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years, fine of 300,000 to 400,000. For cases involving less than 5 grams. So this includes the majority, a great majority of the cases that are filed now. Yung mga 0.001 gram of shabu, 0.02, 0.03, ganyan-ganyan, kasama dyan. Imprisonment of 12 years to 20. Okay, then Section 12, ito ang medyo very, isa sa mga mabababang penalty. The penalty for possession of paraphernalia is 6 months to 4 years and fine of 10,000 to 50,000. Then Section 5, okay? For the first offense, the penalty is 6 months rehabilitation. But if you're found for the second time, you shall suffer the penalty of imprisonment ranging from 6 years to 12 years. Okay? But I noticed that, and you would notice also, if you look at the types of cases that are filed in court now, if you go to the jails and interview there, you would rarely find Section 515 cases nowadays. Why is that? Because of this proviso at the end, where a person tested is also found to have in his possession some quantity of dangerous drugs under Section 11. So, syempre, ang mga police officers, they'd rather file Section 11 than just Section 15, right? Because it involves a higher penalty. Okay, so we go to from arrest, and then the basis for arrest, we go to investigation. So in RA 9165 cases, most arrests are warrantless, done by virtue of bypass operations. Hence, inquest investigation is immediately conducted by the office of the city or provincial prosecutor, depending on where the arrest was made. In a few cases, police apply for search warrant. If arrest is made by virtue of a search warrant, respondent is brought immediately to the court that issued the warrant, and the court issues a detention commitment order. So what can you do if you're the lawyer? Okay, depende. If the arrest is by virtue of a search warrant, then you have the remedy of filing a motion to quash. If arrested without a warrant, under Section 7, Rule 112, you can ask for a preliminary investigation. Kasi sa inquest investigation, which happens in warrantless arrest, ang pinapakinggan lang yan is the police officer, the arresting officer. Kung kumpleto ba ang kanyang dokumento, ang kanyang base warrant, ay yung kanyang affidavit and attached documents. Hindi ka hinihingan, if you're the accused, hindi ka nagsasubmit ng counter affidavit because it is a parang summary procedure. Okay? So if you want to have the opportunity to submit countervailing evidence, you would have to ask for preliminary investigation with waiver of Article 125. Okay, I'm sure you pinag-uusapan niyo ito on the rules of criminal procedure. Okay, the third remedy available would be to file a motion for bail, petition for bail. Does anybody know here what is the difference? And why would you file a motion for bail? Okay, you file a motion for bail para kahit nandun na yung kaso sa korte, at least you can be out of jail, di ba? If you post a certain amount. Okay, I'll tell you more later on. So those are the usual remedies. Next, investigation. Okay, bail. Okay, nandyan nga yung bail, naka-green, di ba? Nilagay ko yung bail because it's a remedy for somebody to get out of the system. Kaya lang, if you look at Section 9, Section 5, Section 6, bail is not a matter of right. It is a matter of court discretion. Hindi ka basta-basta makaka-file ng bail kasi nga ang penalty ay napakataas, which is life imprisonment to death. So, for Section 5 and Section 6 cases, and also Section 11, Paragraph 2, Subparagraph 1, for those cases na involving possession of big amounts, no bail din yon kasi life imprisonment to death. Pag ngayon, if you want to file a petition for bail for these cases, if you want your client to be out of jail while the case is proceeding on the court, you will have to file a petition for bail in court, and then there should be a trial on bail, which is the prosecution will have to prove evidence of strong guilt. And only after trial can the court decide whether to grant bail or not. So it's not a matter of right. Unlike Section 7, 200,000, Section 11, 200,000, Section 12, 40,000, Section 15, 5,000. You can just file a motion to file bail, diba? Motion to post bail, as long as you have those amounts. Or you can ask for reduction of bail from 200,000 to 100,000, and if you have that amount, you just file it, the court will grant it. That's a matter of right. So pwedeng ilabas kaagad ang accused. Pero sa matter of court discretion, hindi basta-basta. Kahit may pera kang sangkatutak na 500,000, for example, the court will have to make a decision whether to grant it or not. So notes here, even if there's bail, okay, most RA 9165 cases involve violation of Section 5. So kahit meron kang Section 11 case wherein you have 200,000 na pang bail sana, hindi ka naman makaka-file ng bail kasi meron ka pa rin Section 5 case. Hindi ka naman makakalabas dahil may Section 5 case. So many cannot really avail of bail. Bihira. Then the recommended amount for even the most minuscule amount of drugs in Section 11 is 200,000, which is beyond the capacity of most PDLs. So talagang red, red, red. So even though the Supreme Court has already issued Administrative Circular 38/2020 to decongest jails, so binabaan niya yung mga amount from 200,000, gawin na lang daw like 60,000, ganyan-ganyan. Hindi pa rin makalabas ang mga drug of those charged with drug offense. Kasi most of them, hindi lang naman Section 11 ang case nila na merong matter of bail as a matter of right. Meron din silang Section 5 or Section 6. You will find that out when you interview PDLs. Okay? So kahit bail is a remedy available, it is not often availed of in RA 9165 cases. Next. Okay. So ito yung OCA circular. Another OCA circular which was this released by the court sometime in April of 2020. Parang kasabay nung OCA's administrative circular reducing the amounts for bail. Kasi grabe talaga yung influx of cases in 2020. Tapos meron pang COVID. So talagang gusto ng korte, bawasan yung population in jail. So sabi nila, the guidelines for decongesting, they reiterated a certain rule, certain 2014 guideline of the court, which is release of those who have already served the minimum imposable penalty. Sabi ng OCA sa amin, sa mga korte, ilabas nyo na. Kung meron dyan mga nakaserve na ng minimum penalty, pwede na silang mag-avail of this section of the AM number 12-11-2. Accused who has been detained for a period at least equal to the minimum of the penalty for the offense charged against him shall be ordered released motu proprio or motion after notice and hearing on his own recognizance without prejudice to continuation of the proceedings against him. Parang bail na walang amount involved. But note, the minimum imposable penalty for many violations in RA 9165 is, Section 5, life imprisonment. Section 11, 12 years and 1 day. So tingnan mo yung mga nasa jail ngayon. Tatanungin nyo sila, meron ba ho ditong nakaserve na ng imprisonment of 12 years? Medyo matagal-tagal yata yun bago kayo makaka-avail nitong release after service of minimum penalty. Meron na ho ba ditong lumampas na lang life imprisonment? So pwede na natin i-avail itong release after service of minimum. So parang even with this circular, it really has not led to massive decongestion of jails because of the very high penalties imposed in RA 9165. Okay lang yan dun sa mga ibang kaso na mas mababa ang penalty, di ba? Yung tipong 6 months and ganyan. Titingnan mo lang, lumampas na ba na siya ng 6 months o pwede na siyang i-release kahit hindi pa tapos yung kaso. Di ba? Kasi tapos na yung minimum imposable penalty. Okay, so but you can always look at this if kaya naka-green yung aking release after service of minimum imposable penalty. You can take a look. When you interview your clients in jail, tingnan nyo nga, have they served the minimum imposable penalty? Because if they have already served that, then you can avail of this particular circular of the Supreme Court. That's why it is green. Nag-red lang ako kasi sabi ko, hindi naman nag-a-apply sa maraming drug cases kasi ang tataas nga ng penalty, di ba? Kahit yung minimum penalties, ang tataas pa rin. That's why naging red. Next. So this is the administrative order of the court also in April of 2020. Na din binabaan ng korte yung mga amount to post for para maka-post ka ng makalabas ka on bail, binabaan yung amount to be posted. Kaya lang, if you look at 1, 2, 3, and 4, itong 2, 3, and 4, parang hindi naman ito nag-a-apply sa drug cases. Kasi the crime punishable, maximum period of prison mayor, 6 years, 1 day to 12 years, 6 months and 1 day to 6 years, 1 month. Pwede lang siguro ito sa Section 12, di ba? Nakita niyo late kanina na medyo mababa ang penalty. But ang nag-apply lang talaga for RA 9165 sa circular na ito was Section 11 cases. Na kasi 12 years, crime punishable with the maximum period of reclusion temporal of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. So that's Section 11, right? Paragraph 2, subparagraph 3. Kaya lang, as I said earlier, kahit na meron kang Section 11, so pwede kang mag-avail of a lower amount instead of 200,000, magiging mga 60,000 na lang. So siguro naman makakaipon ka at ang iyong makamag-anak para makapag-bail ka. The problem is, kung hindi lang naman Section 11 ang case na naka-charge sa iyo, meron ka pang Section 5. So ganun pa rin, hindi mo pa rin maa-avail itong administrative order ng court. So anyway, next. So then another case, People versus Romy Milin, naka-green siya. Can we avail of this? Ito yung case, okay, September 4, 2018. Sabi ng court, okay, arrest, so judicial notice taken of the fact that arrests and seizures related to illegal drugs are typically made without a warrant, hence subject to inquest proceedings. In relation thereto, there's the chain of custody, implementing rules and regulations. Kailangan daw any justification or explanation in cases of non-compliance with the requirements of Section 21. Ito yung Section 21, ito yung requirements under RA 9165 na kailangan may witnesses that will sign sa inventory of the drugs that were taken from you, etc., etc. Ngayon, pag wala kang ganun, compliance with those requirements kasi, the case can be dismissed, diba? Kasi na-violate yung chain of custody. Ngayon, sabi dito sa People versus Romilin, okay, while the above quoted provision has been the rule, it appears that it has not been practiced in most cases elevated to the Supreme Court. Thus, in order to weed out early on from the court's already congested docket any orchestrated or poorly built drug-related cases, the following should be enforced. Okay, kailangan daw, number one, the apprehending officers must state in their affidavit of, what's this, affidavit of apprehension, that they have complied with the requirements of Section 21. That, we secured at least 2 witnesses who signed the inventory, etc., etc. Number 2, but if you were not able to get the 2 witnesses, for example, isa lang na witness, the apprehending officer must state the justification or explanation therefore, as well as the steps that you took in order to preserve the integrity and evidentiary value of the seized or confiscated items. Number 3, if there is no justification or explanation, the fiscal must not immediately file the case before the court and must conduct further preliminary investigation in order to determine the non-existence of probable cause. Why did the court do this? Dahil napakamaraming cases ng RA 9165 cases na nadidismiss because of the non-compliance with Section 21. So sabi ng korte, nagsasayang lang tayo ng maraming pagod ng papel, ng oras, ng korte, etc., etc. For these cases na nag-end up in dismissal. If you know that the conviction rate for RA 9165 is very poor, mga nasa less than 20% conviction rate. So parang grabe yung efforts ng mga police, ng prosecution kuno to arrest, hindi naman nagli-lead to conviction. All because there's a lot of non-compliance with Section 21. If you look at these mga drug cases, okay, a lot of it, dismissals because of Section 21. So anyway, at number 4 of People Romilin, if the fiscal filed the case, kahit daw wala yung sworn, statement of the police that they comply with the requirements of Section 21, the court, green na ito ha, the court may exercise its discretion to either refuse to issue a commitment order or dismiss the case outright for lack of probable cause. Okay. I hope wala sa inyong colorblind ha. Nakikita nyo yung mga green ko dito at saka mga red. Kasi take note especially of the green ones because those are, things that you can make use of, no? So titingnan nyo ngayon sa mga, if you have a client, ba? Titingnan nyo ngayon sa documents presented by the prosecution and by the police. Meron bang in the sworn statement of the police, meron ba silang compliance with the requirements of Section 21? Kasi kung wala silang justification, etc., you can move for dismissal of the case for lack of probable cause based on the People versus Romilin case. At tingnan natin, baka meron kayong mapadismiss. Kasi ngayon, napansin ko naman, nung lumabas na yung korte ng Romilin case, natuto rin yung mga pulis. Ngayon, pag nagpa-file sila, palagi na yung merong kakabit sa kanilang sworn statement. I complied. Ano ba yun? Affidavit of compliance. Automatic na rin sila. Naglalagay na sila nitong affidavit of compliance. So anyway, sige. Next. So after investigation by the prosecution, we go to the filing in court. So the information is filed at the office of the clerk of court. It is raffled to a drugs court. The court issues detention commitment order. Okay, detention commitment order is the order of the court telling the police to bring si Tarpulano to the jail. Okay? So, i-receive ngayon ng jail. That's the detention commitment order. It has to be signed by a judge. Hindi pwedeng clerk of court lang or any other person in the court. Okay? So, pag tingnan yung mga papeles siguro na tingnan yung una kaagad. Detention commitment order, meron ba? Sinong nagpirma? Kailan yung date na yon? Kasi yung date ng detention commitment order is the reckoning date of when the person started his detention. Okay, that's how you count the number of days, months, and years when the person was committed to jail. Then after the court issued detention commitment order, it schedules a case for arraignment. Next. So, arraignment, pre-trial, kasi walang plea bargaining, so diretso sa trial. Ngayon, pag trial, the court will, prosecution first will present evidence. Okay. Ngayon, meron demurrer to evidence. Naka-green yan ha. So yung mga may color blind dyan, that's demurrer to evidence is in green. Bakit? It's a remedy. If you are a defense counsel, you will look at the evidence presented to the prosecution. At the end, pag nag-formal offered exhibits na sila, tapos na ako, judge, tapos na kami wala na akong ibang ipipresent na witnesses, ito ho ang aming evidence. Titingnan mo ngayon, is this evidence sufficient? Diba? To convict the accused. Gawin mo, mag-file ka ng demurrer to evidence. Telling the court, no, that the evidence is not sufficient. Kasi pag sinasabi mo, pag hindi naman sufficient ang evidence, the court can dismiss the case already because you are not, as an accused, diba, you don't have to present any evidence at all. It is the duty of the prosecution to prove your case. It is not your duty as an accused to prove that parang you don't have to present evidence at all. Kung wala namang evidence yung prosecution o kulang, you just have to say, kulang po. So, i-dismiss na natin ang kaso. Huwag na tayong magsayang ng oras ng korte para mag-present pa kami ng evidence kasi wala namang bisa yung evidence ng prosecution. That's what demurrer to evidence is. Okay? So, if the demurrer is granted, the case is dismissed. Okay? Kids, case is dismissed, so green. So if denied, the court says that means the court is saying, no, there is substantial evidence. You as the accused, you have to rebut the evidence of the prosecution because they have raised, substantive evidence for a prima facie case. So if the demurrer to evidence is denied, you have to present evidence. Then after trial, then the judgment is issued. Green for acquittal, red for convicted. Why green? Acquitted, then you can go out immediately. There is no appeal in a criminal case. Pag na-dismiss ang case, di ba? There is no more appeal by the prosecution. Immediately labas ka kaagad. Take note, pag acquitted na, pag nang tatagalan, dapat kaagad ma-release. Kung pwede on the same day that the decision is promulgated. If convicted, syempre, red. Nandyan ka pa rin. Next. Now we look at procedure if there is plea bargaining. Okay, this is important kasi maraming cases, of course, are where PDLs are availing of plea bargaining. So what is plea bargaining? Okay, in the beginning, okay, plea bargaining under RA 9165. There is section 23. Look at your copy of the law, which says that any person charged under any provision of this act, regardless of the imposable penalty, shall not be allowed to avail of the provision on plea bargaining. Red na red yan. That's how harsh RA 9165 is compared to other criminal laws. Imagine, sa murder, sa homicide, pwedeng mag-plea bargain. Samantalang sa possession of drugs, hindi pwedeng mag-plea bargain. Sa rape, pwedeng mag-plea bargain. Those are heinous offenses, right? With private complainants, private offended parties. And yet the law allows for plea bargaining. But RA 9165, no. Possession of 1 gram, hindi ka makapag-plea bargain. That was before. That was before Estipona versus Lobrigo. Again, in green. August 15, 2017, the court declared Section 23 of RA 9165 unconstitutional for being contrary to the rulemaking authority of the Supreme Court. Okay, you can just read this case by yourselves. Next. So after promulgating Estipona versus Lobrigo, the following year in March of 2018, the court issued this resolution, the adoption of the plea bargaining framework in drugs cases. Ito ang, I will just highlight the more, madalas na ginagamit, okay? More salient provisions, which are, for Section 11, Paragraph 3, yung lowest, diba, na penalty, which is 12 years to 20, for as long as the amount involved is less than 5 grams of shabu or less than 300 grams of marijuana, the accused can plead guilty to the lesser offense of Section 12, which is punishable only with 6 months to 4 years, with a fine of 10,000 to 50,000. Okay, Section 11 to Section 12. Section 12, possession of drug paraphernalia, you can also plea bargain to Section 15. Ibig sabihin, aakuin ko na lang po I'm guilty of Section 15. Kesa naman, makasuhan ako ng Section 12. Okay? For Section 5, this is the Supreme Court framework. From a penalty of life imprisonment to death, diba? For as long as, this is the threshold amount, the amount involved in the selling is less than 1 gram of shabu and less than 10 grams of marijuana, the accused can plead guilty to the lesser offense of Section 12, punishable only with 6 months to 4 years. Imagine, that's a big, big, big gap, you know. Life imprisonment, tapos mag-plead guilty ka na ngayon. Oo nga, it's a plead guilty. Parang, but, see, 6 months lang ang penalty. So, ang daming nag-avail nito. Bakit? Syempre, people would like to get out of that system as soon as they can. They cannot stand to, go on trial for like 3 to 5 years. Diba? Tapos ito pa. So anyway, so these are the salient provisions of the resolution of the Supreme Court. Okay. In all instances, this is part of that resolution. Whether or not the maximum period of penalty imposed is already served, a drug dependency test shall be required. And if you are found positive, you shall undergo treatment and rehabilitation for a period not less than 6 months. So, nakaread yung dalawang yan. So, ibig sabihin, kahit na nag-plead guilty ka na to Section 12, sabi ng judge, sige, I'm imposing a straight penalty of 6 months. Kaso, hindi ka pa nakapag-drug dependency test. Tapos, katapos mag-drug dependency test, sabi ng the doctor that conducted the test, you have to undergo treatment. Kasi, so another 6 months. So, hindi ka kaagad makakalabas pa rin. So, that's why it's red. Okay. Now, meron sa baba, okay, if accused applies for probation in offenses punishable under 9165, then the law on probation shall apply. That's very important. I will explain to you later on. So, green yung probation. So, what are the effects? Balik tayo. The effects of the Supreme Court rules on plea bargaining. Are you still there? Sorry, I'm talking to a blank wall. Are you still there? Hands up, please. Okay, thank you. So, effects of this plea bargaining. The rules of the Supreme Court, 1803-16, introduced 3 new concepts. One is the drug dependency examination. If you look at RA 9165, wala kang makikitang drug dependency examination as part of imposable penalties under Article 2. Rehabilitation, again, that's not part of the imposable penalties for Section 5, Section 11, Section 12. It's only there in Section 15. But under this rule on plea bargaining, biglang nandyan. And thirdly, probation, again, dati hindi allowed. Diba? Section 24 of RA 9165 does not allow for probation. But now, because napapababa mo na from Section 5 to Section 12, Therefore, pwede na mag-apply for probation. So those are three concepts and processes introduced by the Supreme Court. Now, with the introduction of the plea bargaining, this has challenged or put pressure on the Department of Health to address the sudden surge in demand and request for DDEs. Kasi dati wala naman yung DDE na yan. Bihira namang mag-conduct yung DDE na yan. All of a sudden, bigla ang daming nag-apply for plea bargaining. And for all of these cases na nag-apply for plea bargaining, they all have to have DDE. So biglang the Department of Justice had, DOH, sorry, had to, in fact, parang certify private doctors as parang accredit them so that they can also conduct DDE. Now, another thing, there was resistance posed by the issuance of DOJ guidelines. DOJ in the first few years after Estipona versus Lobrigo, meron silang sariling guidelines. Sa kanila, ang Section 5, pwede kang mag-plea bargain only to Section 11. Hindi pwedeng to Section 12. Sabi ng Supreme Court, pwede up to Section 12, pero DOJ hanggang Section 11 lang. So, ang daming nag-away talaga nun. All across the Philippines, nag-away yung mga fiscal at mga korte. Kasi sabi ng fiscal, hindi pwede kasi under our guidelines, hanggang Section 11 na. Ang mga korte naman, hindi. Ang sabi sa amin, pwede. Anyway, but this has been already resolved because later on, DOJ came up with new guidelines. Now, it allows, ibig sabihin, sabi ng DOJ, okay, pwede na kaming hindi mag-object kahit na plea bargaining is from Section 5 to Section 12. Okay, next. There's this OCA circular. This is fairly new, only December last year. Sabi dito, offers for plea bargaining now must be initiated in writing. Dati, when I was still a judge, okay, hanggang June of 2022, I would allow for plea bargaining kahit oral motion lang. Kasi sa Resolution 1803 ng Supreme Court, wala namang, silent naman ang court noon, whether it's oral or written. Sa dami ng mga nag-a-apply for plea bargaining noon, parang grabing trabaho yan for the prosecution, for the defense, etc. Kung magpa-file pa sila ng written motion for plea bargaining. So, nakakasayang ng papel, daming oras na sasayang, tapos, and ako naman, syempre, I'd like to facilitate things and, pabilisan yung proseso. Sabi ko, okay lang ang oral motion. But now with OCA Circular 340-2022, kailangan na ngayon for oral written motion. Next, kaya red yan. Kasi ibig sabihin, mas napapatagal yung proseso. Among those not entitled to plea bargain are recidivists, habitual offenders, known in the community as a drug addict, troublemaker, etc. So hindi na and then merong nag-relapse. So marami na ngayong limitations sa who can avail of plea bargaining. If you look at the original of the Supreme Court, 1803, wala namang mga ganitong requirements na mag-plea bargain. Pero ang sabi nila kasi daw paulit-ulit, nag-plea bargain na before, tapos ma-arrest na naman, papasok na naman. So, yeah. So ngayon, naglabas ang OCA circular nito. Finally, upon receipt of the proposal for plea bargain, kailangan the judge shall order that a drug dependency assessment be administered. Before this OCA circular was introduced, in my time, pag for plea bargain, nag-move for plea bargain, and then I grant the plea bargain for as long as yung amount involved is, within the threshold. I would order also a drug dependency assessment, pero sabay na dun sa order, granting the motion to plea bargain, imposing the judgment, the penalty, etc. Ngayon, hindi. Uunahin muna yung drug dependency assessment bago So anyway, you will see that when you interview the clients. Now, medyo napapatagal kasi minsan it takes time before they're given the accused makakakuha ng schedule for a drug dependency assessment. Lalo na nung time na kakaunti naman yung mga doctors who could do the DDE. So mas napapatagal yung time na nandun ka pa rin dun sa pipeline, hindi ka makalabas-labas kasi wala ka pang DDE. Okay, that's why it's in red. Okay, next. So what is this DDE? Okay, the drug dependency examination is conducted by DOH physicians or DOH accredited physicians. And based on their assessment, the PDL, the person deprived of liberty, is recommended for any of the following. Kung pinakamataas, okay, you need inpatient rehab and treatment. Pag mababa ng konti, mas moderate, pwedeng outpatient rehab and treatment. Kung mas mababa niyan, slight lang naman ang iyong dependence or whatever. Community-based rehab program is allowed. And then finally, if you have no drug abuse or drug dependency, you are just recommended for counseling. Okay, that's DDE. Okay, so at least familiar lang kayo sa mga terms. So what are the issues in relation to DDE? Ang problema, kulang minsan ng rehab facilities for women. For example, before, nag-drug, what's this, na plea bargain na nga itong babaeng accused. Ang problema, hindi mo alam kung saan siya ipaparehab kasi wala namang government facilities for rehab for women within Region 10. I don't know now. Kasi the last time I was still in court, pinapadala ko pa sa Agusan, sa Davao, sa Cebu. Kasi wala sa Region 10. So, i-check nyo ngayon. I don't know now kung meron improvement. Then, what the cost of the DDE and rehabilitation? I'm sure this thing, you will also find that out when you go and interview the PDLs. Na wala silang pera pang DDE, pang rehabilitation, although the DOH is saying it's a socialized, ano daw, yung DDE. Pero, I don't know, it's still an issue to be reckoned with. Then, what's the quality of rehabilitation programs? Bakit may mga nagre-rehab na nagre-relapse, o kaya nag-escape, baka naman hindi akma yung rehabilitation program for them. Okay? This is still something that has to be, examined somewhere. And then, isang problema palagi ng mga judges, anong gagawin natin pag nagkaroon ng relapse? O yung nag-escape from rehabilitation facilities? So, parang pumapasok na kasi dito. These are issues that are beyond, the ken of judges. Because relapse is a matter of, it's already, yung rehabilitation, di ba, is like a medical thing already, na ang nakakaintindi naman dyan ay mga doctors, hindi naman ng mga judges. So sometimes you don't know what to do. Di ba? Nagre-rehab na yan, anong gagawin mo? Magpapa-issue ka ba ng warrant of arrest? Hindi naman yan penalty of imprisonment, di ba? Bakit ka mag-arrest warrant? Yung mga ganun. And then sometimes we have conflicting schedules for DDE, rehab, and then probation. So anyway, just a heads up for you. When you conduct your interviews, you will, I'm sure, encounter these issues. So I just want to talk about probation, okay? Section 24, naka-red pa yan. Kasi sa RA 9165, sabi ko nga sa'yo, any person convicted for drug trafficking or pushing, Section 5, cannot avail of the privilege of the probation. Next. So probation is a disposition under which a defendant, after conviction and sentence, is released subject to conditions imposed by the court. Pero hindi pwede pag ang maximum term of imprisonment is more than 6 years, which is Section 11, Section 6, Section 7, Section 5, di ba? So, sorry, hindi pwedeng maka-avail ng probation. But, if these people, PDLs, avail of plea bargaining at nag-plea guilty to Section 12, so pwede na silang mag-avail of probation. Why is this important? Diba? Why is probation important? Kaya green siya. Kasi, okay, before that, kapag nag-apply for probation, which is right after the judgment, sinabi na ng court, okay, you are found guilty of Section 12, and then the court imposes the penalty of halimbawa 6 months o kaya 1 year imprisonment with fine of 10,000 pesos. After the judgment is promulgated, you have a certain number of days within which to file your motion to avail of probation. Then after that, there is a post-sentence investigation to be conducted by the Parole and Probation Office. And that the officer shall submit that PSIR post-sentence investigation report within 60 days, etc. Now, pending, habang nag-apply ka na ng probation, nag-file ka ng motion for probation, while pending yung application mo for probation, the defendant may be allowed on temporary liberty under his bail. Okay? Green, again. So, pwede ka na namang lumabas sa criminal justice system kapag nag-file ka na ng motion for probation and motion for release on release on recognizance. The court may allow the release of the defendant on recognizance. So kapag nag-file ka ng probation immediately, no? Kahit may sentence sa'yo na 1 year, for example, di ba? Pwede ka nang magpalabas, okay? It's a green light. Pwede ka nang lumabas from the criminal justice system by filing a motion for release on recognizance. You will see this as you go through, interview your PDLs. These are familiar motions that are filed in court, drugs cases. Next. Now, as I said, why probation law is very important? Because under Section 16, upon the termination of probation, diba, the final discharge of the probationer shall operate to restore him to all civil rights lost or suspended as a result of his conviction and to totally extinguish his criminal liability. Yun kasi ang daming arguments sa plea bargaining. Parang, ba't ako magpe-plea bargain? Ba't ako mag-aamin ng di ba? Parang sabihin ko, I'm really innocent. Why would I, Pero, ang sinasabi naman dito for those who are parang gusto nila mag-plea bargain at in-explain usually ng Paul lawyer. Kasi, pag nag-probation ka dahil naka-plea bargain ka at maayos yung probation mo, tinupad mo yung kailangan gawin according to the probation officer, you will you will be discharged after, you will at the end of the probation period at magandang record mo, it will totally extinguish your criminal liability. Okay? So that's the importance of the probation. Wait. I'm sorry. Mukhang meron ako. Wait, sorry. Oh, sorry. I just have a guest in the house. Wait. Okay, hello. Wait. Are you still there? Sorry. How many more minutes do we have? We're beyond, Cesca, should we continue? Or should we end this? How many more minutes? I can't hear you. Sorry, you're on mute.
Judge, we only have, it's past 9:30 na.
Yeah.
How long are your presentation?
Oh, wait. Actually, it's about the end na.
Okay lang.
Tapos na yun. Yeah.
May lang. We can
I
extend
guess,
for a little.
Yeah. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen because that's about it. I'll stop share. Kasi the last part is just my comments on the RA 9165. So just brief wrap up. So I showed you the entire process from the arrest up to judgment and then probation later on. I would recommend that you can have a copy of this presentation and have everything there, the law itself, the procedural rules, all the OCA circular, etc. You can just do a review of all that. Then just follow this, these steps that I outlined in this pipeline that I made. Okay, so I guess I need to end for all of us. So you can rest, and me too. And then I'm open to receiving questions. Maybe you can do it just online. Cheska, can you just facilitate it and just send to me? Okay, thank you so much. Good night, everyone. I'll see you on Saturday. Good night. Yeah, bye. Thank you, Cheska. Yes. Yes, Cheska.
Okay na, Judge. I'll just
Yeah.
some housekeeping matters.
Okay, sige. I'll turn off my video na rin kasi I'm just here in a small space in Tagaytay
Thank you,
with other
Judge.
people. Thank you. Good night.